Ladies and gentlemen, the member of European Parliament, thank you very much for inviting us today here. And give us this time. My name is Esa Azadeh. I have been a member of MEK more than 30 years. After Iranian Revolution in 1979, I joined MEK. I was just a student at that time. And for freedom and democracy, I joined this organization. And also the justice and equal right for women and men. And also, I thought that we are joining the democratic organization. In 1980, I was arrested by Iranian security service. And I was in prison for 2 years. In the south side of Iran. And I had under worst torture in my time. After I got free from prison, with the I could not leave the country, and I had been sentenced to death, and I could not work in any government job. The organization of MEK, they find me in Iran. And they used and they smuggled me from Iran. And they smuggled me from Iran to Iraq. I was in Iraq for 27 years. All this time, in 27 years, in the worst country because of war and bombardment, we could have been killed anytime. According to the United Nations contract in Iraq, Mujahideen left their main base in Ashraf camp to another camp near Baghdad called Liberty. I was, as a member of MEK, in the first group, which we were 400 people. We have been transferred from Camp Ashraf to Liberty. More than 1 year I was in Camp Liberty. I was the head of security and security of the camp. For the first time, the international organization came to the camp. United Nations. Yeah, as I said, it was the first time that they could come to the camp. Before that, we have been under segregation for all these years. During when the Saddam Hussein was in power, it means before 2003. No one ever could come to the camp Mujahideen except the lobbyists. And none of us could talk to anyone else outside Camp Ashraf. Maybe it's hard to believe what I want to tell you. It will be hard to understand because you live here in 21st century. Believe that with my degree as a PhD, I haven't seen mobile cell phone till a year ago. It was the first time I see cell phone, it was a year ago. I never have seen any newspaper since 27 years that I was there. I am talking with you. I have been a known person. Everybody in MEK knows me. I am a refugee to French government. Since a year ago, I haven't seen no TV, no internet, nothing. Internet is a big crime in MEK. If someone is looking for it or searching to use it or even talk about it. Because this oppression and depression in organization, because of dictatorship of the leader Rajavi, that he had it in place in organization, it was a very bad atmosphere, and the people were not agree with that. In 1985, it's about 20 years ago. In direct order of Massoud Rajavi, the leader of cult, about 700 of the commander and the member of PMO, the MEK, was arrested. And the prison were inside the Camp Ashraf. the solitary confinement without any kind of having any kind of anything. There were nothing in the solitary confinement, and we had the minimum needs in there. As a ex-commander in MEK, I had objected to this situation, and I told him we were university student, and we came from Europe, Canada, Australia, and US, and Iran for freedom and democracy, and overthrow the Iranian government. And that was the main reason we joined this organization. Iranian government would have executed us and put us in prison. Why we have the same treatment here in organization that we came here as a volunteer? Why you torture us here too? Why do you do the same thing to us? Is that our sin that we left our university and our life in Europe and we came here to join you? If that was our sin, we don't want you no more, and we have enough. And we want to get out of this situation and get out of this organization. What do you think they done to me? At night, with the security system, the security forces at night arrested me, took me to the prison for torture. There were few of security agents that they had a mask on their face. They gave me a paper and told me to sign this paper that indicate that I am the member of Iranian security service. And I infiltrated to Mujahideen. That's very funny. That was very funny. That was a joke. I was in prison, tortured, and escaped from Iran. And now the organization wants me to sign a paper that I'm the Iranian agent. What was the reason? Because we were objected to what he was doing in the organization. He wanted to do the same that Stalin, the same thing he wanted to do that to us. And he wanted to have this paper, that fake paper. So he has an excuse that he could continue to torture us. Of course, I never done that, never signed it. More than 10 of my friends that they were like me, and they were all educated in university. they have been killed and tortured in their prison, and no one know anything about them. Some of them were tortured, and after all these years they could get out of that cult, and they reach to Europe and they live here now. I myself was in prison for 3 months by Rajavi in Ashraf camp. After I got released from prison, in the fake show, Mr. Rajavi took us to his special places that he had in Iraq, near Baghdad. And face to face, he told us what happened inside organization is it should not get outside this organization. No one should know about what happened here, even inside organization. Of course, we were in Iraq and we had no contact whatsoever with outside world. Believe us, I never thought, he said, I never thought I could ever say these things to other outside world, like today that I am sitting here in front of you. But today, with help of Mr. Bracco and you all, they gave us this time and this opportunity to say and to hear our even a little voice of us that we can say. And what we went through and the suffer and torture that we went through, we can talk to you about that. I can cut it to chase. I only want to say, for example, I just want to say that in this parliament, to say to tell you a schedule only for one day that we had in Camp Ashraf. Ladies and gentlemen, all of us in Camp Ashraf, even all the MEK members, even in Europe, that they live in Europe, even in Europe, they live like soldiers, and they wake up at the same time. They wake up, and at the same time they all go to sleep. No one could stay awake after this time. It starts at 5 o'clock in the morning. Start from 5 o'clock to 11 o'clock at night. Every single day. Every single one has to report and schedule every single hour of every single person. Even when they have time for breakfast, which is 15 minutes, for lunch, 1 hour, for dinner it's 1 hour. 1 hour a day we have do the sport and exercise. The rest of it is like slavery. We have just working, and most important part is the session that we have for brainwashed. An ideology session, and the organization is and the organization right now transfer to the cult, and they put the leader cult as a god.